Stopped by McDonald's at one of the North Luzon Expressway rest stops to grab some hash browns, and there were all these surreal McDonald's themed Valentine's Day packages for sale. I stopped here on my way to Baguio City, 250 kilometers north of where I live in Quezon City, Metro Manila, Philippines. I was in Baguio from February 9 to 11, 2022. The COVID-19 Omicron surge had faded by then, so most restrictions like RT-PCR within 48 hours, etc. have been lifted. We still had to stop at a checkpoint right by the Kia showroom and Marcos Highway because that's where we were supposed to register or something as non-city residents. But when we got to their parking lot / triage area, we were told that we could go straight to Camp John Hay where our hotel is located and just do our rapid antigen test there. So back in the car we went. Got to Camp John Hay and alighted at the convention center to fill out contact tracing forms, pay for our rapid antigen tests, get our nostrils poked, then waited around half an hour for our negative results. We left Metro Manila around 7:45 a.m. After all the tests and stuff were done, it was nearly 2 p.m. and we were very hungry. Checked into our hotel, The Manor, which is located in the Camp John Hay grounds. We headed straight to Le Chef restaurant for a late lunch and didn't go up to our rooms immediately after checking in. Food was a more important priority than freshening up and resting at that point. The food was pretty good. Our party of 4 shared the various dishes family style. This is the view from outside our hotel room window. The plexiglass roof you see is the roof of the outdoor area of Le Chef, the footage you guys saw earlier. Later that afternoon, after napping and resting, we walked around the garden part of the manor, the part beyond Le Chef restaurant. Because of Baguio City's elevation and climate, the place has a lot of beautiful plants and flowers. The Manor Hotel also put up these plastic domes meant for socially distanced dining, popular during this pandemic. I'm not into this trend. It smells like those non-well ventilated and closed places. The garden area is pretty extensive. At the far end, there's even a small playground for kids. This is me doing some influencer style posing, and here are more lovely flowers. The hotel lobby has a little old school liquor nook and a real live fireplace. Our first night's dinner in Baguio was at a popular Mediterranean-themed restaurant, Lemon and Olives. The vibe was cozy and homey, and they have outdoor seating so you can enjoy the cool night breeze of Baguio and also minimize inhaling COVID germs from fellow patrons. Checked out Craft 1945 after our Lemon and Olives dinner. It's a Spanish-themed restaurant / pub inside a house. I believe this is a branch of the Baguio Craft Brewery that's located outside Baguio City's downtown. This was much closer to Camp John Hay where we stayed. They said they made their own sangria. It was pretty tasty. Our first stop the next morning was to Burnham Park. Normally I hate going there as it's so crowded, but it was pretty sparse that day since it was a weekday and there's still a pandemic going on, even if the worst of Omicron had passed. I loaded up some expired Kodak film I'm using up. I took 2 rolls to Baguio. I bought them back in 2008-2009, didn't use them, and they expired in 2010, making them 12 years old expired as of 2022. Burnham Park is still the same as ever, people wheeling around in rented bikes and little 4-wheel pedal buggies. A lot of neat street food. As I mentioned, the 2 rolls of Kodak Acticolor Pro 160 film I brought on the trip expired back in 2010. That's 12 years ago and I didn't store them in a fridge or anything. The chemicals had degraded pretty badly by then. Out of 32 total frames, only 7 ended up somewhat usable. I'll post them side by side, the digital reference photos. You'll be able to tell which is the film photo. The color cast is pretty bad due to the chemicals that were slowly degrading over 12 years. I had them developed back here in Metro Manila and scanned them myself and post-processed in software. Upon scanning but pre-software processing, most were barely visible, near black or with a very bad magenta color cast. Taho is a typical Filipino street food you can find almost anywhere in the Philippines, sold by itinerant street vendors. It's soft tofu with tapioca balls, and the street food version is usually topped with caramelized brown sugar. The Baguio City Taho vendors have additional flavors atypical of other street vendors outside of the city though. Ube, our kind of Filipino purple yam, and strawberry. Baguio City's ube and strawberry jam are pretty famous. Yummy! Aside from pedaling four-wheel buggies and bicycles, another classic Burnham Park activity is renting these little kitschy boats to ride around the man-made lake in the center of the park. Get a load of this bootleg Doraemon carving. Is this supposed to be the Little Mermaid? And here's another spooky result from my 12-year-old expired film with its digital reference photo. It was pretty cool around the time we went, around 22 degrees Celsius during daytime, 71 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cool for the tropics. Aside from the boat rentals, they also had these pedal foot-powered swan boats. And here's yet another spooky expired film photo. On one end of Burnham Park is Le Bloom Mobile Cafe. It hits all the aesthetic notes that millennials and Gen Z love. As for an old-timer like me, I was pretty satisfied with their hot chocolate with a dash of orange syrup. This long strip and the way back out the exit near the parking lot with the diner windows actually used to house a bumper car amusement lot. After 2 hours in Burnham Park, we went to Red Rustics for lunch. It offers both Italian cuisine and Korean barbecue. The restaurant name is spelled strangely, but the food was great. I love the spinach ravioli and pizza. After lunch, we hit up some vintage shops. The first is called Volume 1. It's got vintage sneakers, vintage band tees, some collectible vinyl toys, and other random pop art knickknacks. In the same building, there were two more vintage/thrift shops. There's Baguio Prime Hustlers with even more vintage memorabilia and collectibles. Luxury, which has secondhand designer goods, and this cafe with a Joker poster. I took this photograph of the city skyline with the iconic hillside Baguio houses from that building's far exit. Inside Camp John Hay is another iconic Baguio establishment, Chocolate de Baterol. That's where we headed next for our afternoon snack. I love the green leafy vibe of this place and the traditional furniture. Very unpretentious, doesn't try to be Instagrammable, just a laid-back vibe with good native hot chocolate. I loaded my second roll of 12-year-old expired Kodak film here. Drove back to the manor after to nap and rest. That night, we didn't leave the hotel anymore for dinner. We ate at Le Chef, the same place where we had our first meal this trip. How fast time flew. This is our third day. We left Baguio the afternoon of this day, but we went back to Burnham Park again that morning because my friend wanted to practice biking again. All this footage was shot in the Camp John Hay grounds as we were driving out. And we've exited Camp John Hay. Back at Burnham Park, I walked around again taking photos while my friends biked. I wanted to use up my second roll of 12-year-old expired Kodak Acticolor Pro 160 film. This flower I shot with that expired film looks like a spooky Victorian picture. The flowers at this park are gorgeous. Baguio is actually known for a huge annual flower festival. Here's the Swan Boat rental parking lot. They look a bit funny all lined up in a row. This is one of the Cobra boats I shot with expired film. Again, it looks so spooky. When the chemicals degrade, the film loses sensitivity to light, among other problems. Here's the swan boats I shot with the expired film. I had to post-process them to tease out the shadows and tried my best to remove the magenta color cast. This is an accidental double exposure of the swan boats in the parking lot booth. I shot the parking lot booth just before leaving. I must have forgotten to move the film forward. The sunflowers here are huge, as big as my hand. Here's some bees feasting on flower nectar. Here's a spooky version of this ice cream cart I shot with my 12-year-old expired film and its digital reference photo. My friend wanted to check out Hot Cat Cafe after the park. It's on the same property as the famous Mount Cloud bookshop down the stairs of that house. Unfortunately, it was closed that morning. The bookshop people said there was an announcement that that neighborhood may lose power that morning, and maybe the cafe owners decided not to open for the day anymore. For our last meal in Baguio, we went to the Ozark Diner. It's a bit of a drive from the downtown part of Baguio City, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Worth the drive though. The diner is owned by a Phil-Am guy and decorated in the classic American diner style. I really like this place. The portions were huge, tastes freshly cooked, very delicious. My friends got the fried chicken, thick biscuits, and gravy. The gravy is really good. It's made from scratch, not fast food mystery slop. I got their longanisa platter, as that's my favorite Filipino breakfast meat. Their longanisa is the salty, garlicky one, not the sweet kind, thank God. They served it as a burger patty, not in the typical sausage form. We headed back after and made it in time to check out at 12 noon. This was a Friday and so many people were coming in to check in and like the day we arrived. Glad we didn't come on a weekend. What, did you think the video was over? We stopped by Mines View Park on our way out of Baguio City. This is another iconic Baguio City landmark that I normally hate visiting due to its thick crowds. Luckily, it wasn't so crowded that time. There were grilled corn stalls on the way in, same as it's always been for decades. There were also plant vendors. Mines View Park hasn't evolved with the politically correct time, so they still offer the good old dressing up in indigenous costumes for a free photo opportunity for tourists scheme, which has always been a classic tourist trap activity for decades of this park. Here is the viewing deck where you can bask in the landscape of Benguet. The color-dyed horses tourist photo op is still there, same as the dressing up in indigenous costumes tourist photo op scheme. Nothing has changed since the 90s. You exit Mines View Park through the proverbial gift shop. There are more stores outside by the parking area. Many are selling strawberries grown right there in Baguio and strawberry preserves. Because of the elevation in climate, despite being the tropics, strawberries can thrive in Baguio City during the cooler months when it's in season. Another iconic Baguio City export is their native brooms. You can find these sort of brooms all over the Philippines, even Southeast Asia, but the best ones for hardwood are made in Baguio City. The bristles don't bend or fall out that fast. The shitty brooms just end up pushing dirt around just like cheap, crappy vacuums. I bought 3 because there are so many knockoffs in Metro Manila. Might as well get the originals from the source. We hit up this convent after. This convent is run by the Congregation of Our Lady of Charity of the Good Shepherd, also known as the Religious of the Good Shepherd or Good Shepherd Sisters. They're well known for producing high-quality strawberry and ube jam. Ube is a Filipino purple yam, and other snacks like peanut brittle, etc. It's another iconic Baguio landmark. It was a foggy drive out of Baguio. We stopped at TP Lex in Tarlac to stretch our legs. We stopped again for dinner at the Caltex in NLEX in Pampanga. This is a Filipino restaurant serving Kapampangan cuisine. Aside from the food, it's got a lot of vintage knickknacks, creepy dolls, paintings, collectible china, etc. Everything is for sale apparently, even the chandeliers. The food was great, I loved it. Levels beyond the rest of the restaurants at that rest stop, all fast food. All the food here is cooked Pampanga style, caldereta, kare-kare, sisig but with a lot of grilled veggies and not the normal dead dry style and garlic rice. I like to squeeze calamansi on my food. That's a type of Philippine baby lemon. It's a citrus fruit that's a bit sour but not crazy sour. It's not a lime. I also like to put some vinegar in my food. I don't use a lot of other condiments. Our group of 4 shared the food family style. After dinner, I had some halo-halo from the original Razons next door. I normally can't stand halo-halo, especially the ones where it's full of crap artificially colored jello, but this one just has the basics of crushed ice, sweet evaporated milk, langka, jackfruit, and saba, a type of cooked banana. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of my short trip to Baguio. Which part did you like best? Please comment below. Please thumb up this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to be updated when I upload again. See you next video.